We're here at the Lions Wellness Fair at the Freeman Kennedy School, and I'm with Valerie, who is part of the Polished LLC group that came today. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having us. We had a great time.
Good. They've been here all day, and they were targeting kids today to sort of get the kids to come over and do a quick checkup. And so I would love you to tell us a little bit about what you guys did here.
We came today and we wanted to make kids see that dental care can be fun as well. So we did offer a beanbag toss game that I don't know if you got a chance to play, but several of the kids did partake of that. And if their parents were here, we were able to talk to them about dental education and the children's needs. And we did provide some exams today and sealants.
And would you just tell us from like the wellness perspective what sealants are? Because I know I've heard of them. I know bringing my own kids to the dentist, but I know they're important for kids under 21, right, to get those.
Yes, very much so. So your teeth in the back, they have a lot of lines and grooves. So a sealant goes on top of that surface to seal out bacteria to prevent decay.
So that's a kind of a new dental procedure because I don't think it was around, when our generation was kids. Is that right?
There's some parents of ours did say they had them as well. So that kind of, now we're at a new point where, we're of the same age where we may not have had them done, but, a few years back, they did start becoming more common practice. There are still some offices that don't offer them, so we're trying to educate everyone as a whole of the importance of having them, the benefit of having them.
So yeah, get your kids to get their sealants, and I know mine have them. So you guys, I guess I would love to hear just a little bit about the portability of your practice because it's kind of a unique thing.
Yep, so all of our equipment is completely portable. It folds down and can be moved. We also do adhere to the CDC guidelines, though, of infection control. So we bring a portable sterilizer with us everywhere we go. All of the instruments are wrapped and sterilized, just like they would be in an office. Everything is wiped down, because people often worry about being portable, that it's not going to be the same. And we find that we actually adhere to a higher standard because we know that everyone's watching and there is that concern.
So cool. All right, and so you tell me how many kids you had today. I know you targeted the younger ones, the younger generation, and you had to have a parental consent for them to have a checkup. And so how many did you see and what ages?
We saw about a dozen, all the way from pre-K to I believe high school. We did have someone in high school come by. We did have to compete a little with the Easter egg hunt that was happening.
Which was chocolate, which was the antithesis of the dentist.
And most of the kids, it's kind of funny, they came by and they said that, oh, I just had my candy, so it's a good thing you're here, because they do know, pretty early on that candy as a whole is not a great thing. But we could tell them it's okay. You had some, now you're taking care of your teeth. You just need to keep that pattern at home, because we're not going to be unrealistic and expect kids not to have candy at Easter, but to remind them to brush after that, not just once a day or twice a day like they're doing already, but even after they've had a snack like that in between.
With lots of sugar. Okay. So did you saw a lot of chocolatey mouths, teeth today?
Some. I do have to say there were a lot of great healthy snacks that I saw that were being provided by numerous vendors here. So I'm glad that was a focus too of making that things can taste good and still be healthy. So kids seem to learn a lot today, as did parents.
Yeah, so. It seemed like a great fair, and I know that the Lions host it every year. And have you come in previous years, or is this the first one?
This is our first time. We actually met a person from the Lions Club at another event we were doing, so he was able to see us in action and said, I want to make this part of my health fair because we don't have a dental component right now, and he luckily did understand the importance of oral health. We had several adults ask, too, if they could partake. So we said maybe in the future we'll set up an event like that.
Okay, for adults as well. And then my last question is for you, Valerie, is just a kind of a wellness for your teeth, is that would you tell us whether kids or adults that sugar soda, like regular soda versus diet, with the fake sugars, how does that affect dental health? Which one is better, or are they both bad? And then my second part question is kind of like, I always think that sugary candy, like a gummy candy or like a Smartie, something just total sugar versus chocolate. Is there any better alternative when it comes to the health of your teeth?
When it comes to sodas, unfortunately, they are almost equally as bad, no matter. Yes.
The artificial sugar is just as bad.
Several of the brands. So you really have to do a big comparison study. So I would just say try to avoid that in general because it interferes with the pH balance of your mouth too, because a lot of them have acidity in them. So it's beyond just the sugar. And dark chocolate can actually be good for your teeth if it's very, very dark. But a lot of people don't like that bitter because it lacks the sweetness. So
Dark chocolate's the only exception of candy.
but like I said, you need to be responsible and brush after and floss after and wash it down with some water, just don't keep going and going and going. Moderation.
I was just going to say everything in moderation, right? That's like a good mantra for life, right?
It is. I was lucky enough to have my great-grandmother on my mother's side, my yaya, because she's Greek. She lived to be 109. And she preached that from when I was tiny, that, a little bit of everything is what is the key. And when I saw how long she was on this earth and at a good level, she did not have Alzheimer's. She was completely healthy till the end. So, yeah. So I'm trying to stick with it.
That's inspiring. Good. And I have a grandmother that lived to be almost 101. So I guess, there's some good genes.
Learn from some of the wisdom that they tried to pass on to us. Yeah.
Thanks so much for chatting with us. We hope to see you back next year at the Health and Wellness Fair.
Thank you so much.
We're here with CJ now, and he's part of the Fairmount Fruit Farm in Franklin. Oh my gosh, is that called what's the word for that? Alliteration. Yeah. Fairmount Fruit Farm in Franklin, Massachusetts. Well, thanks for being at the Health and Wellness Fair today. How's it gone so far?
Really well. We've had a great turnout, and a lot of people have been interested in us and the hydroponics and pretty much everything we do. So we're really happy with how today's gone.
Is this your first year being at this fair?
Yep. Yeah. So.
We hope you'll come back.
Yeah, definitely.
CJ, if you can see, they've got a whole bunch of different products that they have today, both healthy and maybe not quite as healthy, but fun things. But I'd love to focus on, like I said, the wellness part where you guys are growing your own fruits and vegetables and then making them into jams. And if you talk a little bit about that and then go right into the hydroponics as well.
Sure. Pretty much we have a farm stand. Everything is either local, like we do on the premises, whether it's the zucchini for our zucchini bread, apples, applesauce, all that stuff. We try to provide as many products that are locally grown or just to have there. And then all of our produce is grown in the hydrostackers, which is a hydroponic vertical growing system.
Let's say a hydroponic vertical growing system.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is it,
yeah,
right?
It's it's not an aquaponics, which most people confuse as hydroponics with aquaponics. And the difference is, to be aquaponics is just solely water. Hydroponics can, which this is actually any soil that isn't native to the region. So what this system does is it uses a soil that's a vermiculite and a perlite mix, just those two things, and they're both mined from the earth, so they're technically a soil, but they're not native to here, so that's why it's called a hydroponic system. This one is unique in the fact that the majority of the time that the plant is in the system, it's in the media and not watered. So it's watered 3 times a day for 3-minute intervals, and pretty much it's very simple. It just goes through a feed line that's up at the top, and then it's just dropped onto these coral stones, which are right here, which adds enough oxygen to the water so that the roots of the plant can absorb the nutrients at an optimal level.
Nutrients right there. Right.
Well, this is the media.
Oh, media.
So yeah,
okay.
And then this would be like it's a liquid fertilizer for a homeowner. All they would need to do is, if you were to have this system as a homeowner, you could have you could have basil, chives, oregano, and several different varieties of herbs or whatever you were growing. And what they do is just have like a 55-gallon drum of water, and then you put the pump in it and a timer, and so you could theoretically go on vacation for 2 weeks and it takes care of itself.
Kidding.
Yeah.
It's like a cat.
It's, yeah.
It's like having a cat. So why styrofoam, CJ? Like, what's the? Is that just the best material that you found that works because it's light or something?
It is light. It's kind of a cousin to styrofoam. What they call is a polystyrene. It's a UV resistant. It's very durable, and so it doesn't break down at all. This system, because it's light, it swivels, so you can easily access every side of the plant. Or if you're inside or don't get like you're in an area with limited light, you can turn it around. So it's very mobile. You can also dismantle it if you needed to, in like for winter purposes.
So it's a styrofoam cousin that's a little bit more durable.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's right.
And as far as we tend to find that by using this system, it's much healthier because we don't need to use as much pesticides. With a ground crop, you are subject to a lot of soil-borne pathogens, bacterias. You're off the ground. A lot of those are very limited and are hard to get into the stacks. Because this is a very sterile soil, you don't have to worry about for tomatoes, for example. They're usually decimated by blight at one point in the season or another. Last year, we had no blight whatsoever, and we lost all the tomatoes to frost, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was October
Yeah,
or so.
exactly.
Okay, got it.
So,
Okay.
So normally in early October, late September, like the tomatoes are really weak and they're just barely hanging on, where these are pretty healthy at that point in the season.
So everything you grow at your farm is through this the hydroponics.
Yep, all of our vegetables are raspberries. They have raspberries and blueberries, a little different system. It's like a large tub. But everything as far as the strawberries, zucchini, eggplant, all of those type of plants are all grown using this system. The only thing that we grow that isn't are obviously like the fruit trees, the apples and stuff, just because they're huge.
And I know that you guys have, all of your fruit and vegetables that you grow, you make into different like jams and things that you have. Okay, now, one question about the big word organic, which I know is everyone's trying to get organic stuff. Is you had mentioned that it is sterile, right? The sterile medium, right? The media. But what about you use a little bit of pesticides to get rid of some pests?
Yeah, we do spray not nearly as much. We try to use just strictly organic stuff. We can't be considered organic just because we're not in a soil that's native to the region. Yeah, but
so it's very strict, I know, to be certified organic, right?
Yeah. So it's really difficult for us to say that we are, even though we're technically not. Another thing that we do is the pesticides that we do use that are organic, we don't use them as frequently because we've integrated a lot of beneficial pests, and we try to create like a better ecosystem where the crops maintain themselves rather than us trying to maintain it for them. So we use like ladybugs or predator mites or like nematodes, stuff like that.
Which are natural pests that actually help with the ecosystem around the plants.
Yeah, because we don't use it I'm not gonna say we don't use, but we limit the use of any broad spectrum pesticide because they just destroy not only the bad bugs but the good bugs. So we spray very less frequently, and then with the introduction of the beneficial insects, we have to spray maybe a third of the time that you would need to on a conventional field.
So this might be really an obvious thing to ask, but are these in a greenhouse at your farm, or are they are they outdoors, or both?
We actually have them both. Right now, all of our strawberries are indoors. We have 12,000 plants in a greenhouse indoors, and that people can, in June, they can come and pick and do their own strawberry picking. And then the rest of the garden, all the rest of the vegetables are outside.
So just strawberries inside.
Yeah, just strawberries.
Okay.
We protect them just because they're such a high cash crop. So.
Okay. So this is hydroponics. So I learned a lot today. Versus there's also aquaponics, which is more just all water,
Yeah,
submerged. Okay.
aquaponic will have like a running, like a continuous feed, where they'll recycle the water and the roots will be submerged. A lot of lettuce is grown that way. We do a lot of lettuce, but it's in the media instead of just solely the water.
Okay. All right, and I have one last one. This is a class. This is like a high school science class.
No, no.
Do you feel that is this more efficient in space versus the field? I mean, it must be. And like, what's the difference in how much land you need for hydroponics versus a regular type of farming?
Well, that's a great question. That's the reason why we got into this, because our farm is acreage-wise, it's very small. Because our property is only 45 acres total, and almost 30 of it's apple orchard. So we had to develop a way to have the farm stand open, producing our own stuff with a very limited amount of space. So right now we only have 1 acre of actual vegetable garden, but that 1 acre, because we're able to produce 5 to 7 acres worth of fruit, because you're putting 20 plants in an area where you'd normally put like 1 or 2, and you lose a lot less due to circumstances like your pathogens, your viruses, stuff like that. So more plant volume and less loss. So it's a huge difference.
Getting it off the ground you'd think that's almost counterintuitive because you think of growing crops in the ground, you know, but this is getting them up, and it's got a lot of benefits. And is this your family? Like, is it a family farm, or is it something that you've come into later?
It's a family farm. It's been in our family since 1920, and my grandfather's the current owner.
Oh, okay.
So, yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's excellent. Well, thanks, CJ, so much, and we hope you're back next year.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely be back. This is good. Great.
So this is Jean. Hi, Jean.
Hello.
She's from Hands-On Therapy, and it looks like treating people during the day. And how's that been going?
I've been a very popular booth here. I've had people come back and forth and keep on keeping an eye to make sure that they can get their turn in. So I've been very busy today.
Well, I am just really excited to get over there too. So, Jean, is this your first year at the Health and Wellness Fair?
No, this is my 3rd year at the Health and Wellness Fair, and each year I've been more and more popular.
Okay.
It turns out I have people who come back year after year now to ask me for a little bit of treatment.
Oh, my goodness. And they take advantage of you being here. So you're eventually, a couple years, you'll have a line out the door.
I think so.
So tell us about myofascial release. It's a big word, but tell us what that means.
Sure. Myo means muscle. Fascia is connective tissue, and that's the glop that holds you together. It's the glue that holds you together. And so myofascial release is a type of technique. It's a therapeutic technique that I'm an occupational therapist, but OTs and PTs, massage therapists would be using this type of technique to allow the soft tissue to rehydrate, to allow it to increase its mobility, because you're not supposed to be stiff. You're supposed to be feeling soft and fluid, exactly. And that allows your body to realign itself better, to normalize your alignment. You know, a lot of times people come to me because they have pain or they have stiffness, and sometimes it's to such an extent that they need some medical intervention for that. But a lot of times people come to me because they just go, I just have always felt sort of stiff, and my neck sort of hurts. Is nothing enough to really
Go to the doctor.
go to the doctor for. Exactly. It's sort of like a runner
Yeah, right.
who
Always has aches and pains.
who always has aches and pains. Exactly. So this is just it's a long, slow, gentle stretch that allows your body to normalize itself.
Oh, wow, that's
So you want to try
interesting way.
some?
I do. I want to know, though, how it's different from basic massage. Like, what's the difference with this?
Basic massage. You're going to feel the difference immediately. Basic massage is oftentimes rubbing against something and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're going to notice that my hands, once they're on you, they don't move. And actually, one of the things which I hear people say all the time is, this really isn't like a massage. it feels very different. Right. So
We're going to see it for ourselves. And are you working then the connective tissue around the muscles or the joints or both? Like how
Yes.
is it? Oh, okay.
it's your connective tissue is everywhere, and so it affects absolutely everything. So it's more feeling is believing on this one. I think that once you feel
I'm
it,
ready. I'm a believer already. All right, thank you.
your pelvis is tipped forward, and
All the time.
that's right, exactly. How does that feel? Now, typically,
You're doing different things to different sides. Is that because you're just changing?
well, it's partially because I'm on one side
Oh,
versus the
okay.
other, and that you also are rotated so that your right hip is up further, so you're feeling it different there. Now, what I'm feeling, and once again, I don't really know anything about you medically,
Right.
and I would if I were actually doing a treatment, and I need to know all that stuff, but you were saying that you had some surgery on your left side. Well, what it feels like is that your right side has tried to compensate an awful lot for that, and it's taken its job a little too seriously.
And it's tired.
And it's tired. Exactly. It's tired. But you see, we have to sort of rotate that around a little bit. Now you notice, see, now you can tell the difference between this and massage.
Oh yeah. This is different. This is a more holistic, don't you think? Is that
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. What I'm feeling with my hands really is just the pull, the various
Right.
pulls.
I see. So that's what you're doing. Are you pulling against or with or both? Or
Yes. Yes,
Right,
I'm pulling both.
Okay. But not at the same time, or you are?
Well, no, I'm just sort of feeling what is restricted. That's what I'm doing. Is I'm feeling restrictions that they're tightnesses. So good. So I could work on you for a
Yeah,
very
I
long
know.
time, but I
I'm
do
gonna
want you
stay.
to hop up and see how it feels.
Okay.
Yep, take your time.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yep, good. That's fantastic. Let's see how you feel.
What it felt to me was, it's so different than massage. It felt like I was passively doing yoga, where you were doing the yoga for my muscles. Does
That's
that
a
make
great, yes, it does. And in fact, a lot of people, I encourage them to go into a yoga class once they feel comfortable enough with it. You know, a lot of times people come to me, they've got chronic pain. They're very scared that they don't want to be in a situation where they're being pushed harder than what their body can do. But once we move into that, we do a lot of yoga type of poses, and then yes, you go into a yoga class, and that's how you stretch yourself out.
Okay, so that it is like you're doing stretching. I mean, it's almost like they would work in conjunction, right? If you can do some yoga and work with you and and get up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that's sometimes what you prescribe. All right. I feel great. I mean, I feel like so I usually have like a aching, that kind of right over here, but right now it just feels still. Like it feels quiet.
Right.
So
And that
it
was
feels better.
only, what,
Yeah.
5 minutes
Right.
worth of therapy.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
That was
thank you very
great.
much. We'll get your
Okay.
shoes in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you next year.
Thank you very much. Take care.